Let's talk about how to build a tight feedback loop with our community members. But first, let's go over the product lifecycle and discuss how our community members can be part of each stage. So broadly speaking, we can divide the product lifecycle into research and ideation, development and testing, and then launch. So during the ideation phase, you can involve your community through brainstorming sessions done in public forums. You can create polls, surveys, or ask open-ended questions. When you do that, you're opening the bridge not just between you and a small number of people, but between you and a community as a whole. So this is a user-centric approach, but instead of doing it in small batches, you open it up more publicly. I remember that one of my very first projects in our startup was to create a roadmap and wishlist sections on our forum. This encouraged our community members to ideate with us. In a week, we've collected hundreds, if not thousands, of votes on which one they want to see next. At that time, it was Google and Alexa voice integration into our products, so we put that into our roadmap and worked very hard to deliver that later on. During the testing phase, you may invite them to join your alpha or beta programs, then provide them with a public space to share their suggestions and feedback. So in software development, there's this concept of dog fooding, where you test your products first and then you scale it. You don't have to do it only within your company. You can also do it outside. So as long as you're clear that it's a prototype and that they should not expect a polished product, you can collect more feedback on the functionality and usability of your product that can help you catch issues and course correct if you're moving away from the core value prop. During this stage, you can also collect more quantitative data through the number of issues, the severity of each, and the overall customer NPS. In our case, when we hit 4.0 and up out of 5, then it's a good sign that we're ready to prepare for launch. During launch prep, this is where it gets really fun. So we will ask customers for testimonials, images, or videos that they would love us to include in our launch. Then we combine all of these to help boost excitement within our community and with other customers. We give them early access to the launch materials and even share it with them first through teasers and newsletters. And by doing that, we encourage them to celebrate with us, and they'll be there cheering with us by the time that we launch. So in summary, all of these different elements are things that you can do in each stage. So doing this with a team and with your community can generate the iterative process that can help you bring your product to the finish line. So this is how you involve your customers in each of these areas. The key here is to have an open discussion, not just between you and one user, but the community as a whole. So that is the primary difference between a community-driven approach with other user-centric practices. So let's dig a little deeper on the kind of community interaction that can happen throughout the process. Communication can flow between you, the company, to one community member to the next. You can provide status updates and information on existing and future products. So the information can include product roadmaps, release notes, and upcoming events. There's a lot that you can do to create your product, marketing, and community content calendars. Another way of doing it is asking for direct design feedback. So in this case, one of our team members asked our beta testers to choose between two options, A and B. Instead of having that long internal dialogue, what happened was we're able to collect at least 200 responses, an explanation on why they choose one over the other. This allowed us to move faster and build a better product for our community. Another way of doing this is letting them give suggestions on their own. Create a space where they can actively participate and post their thoughts. So here's an example. I remember a few years back that one of our community members is very knowledgeable on how to build and design an app experience. The good thing about this is that instead of just giving his pain points or challenges, he provided a solution and also created a prototype. So this design is actually from him. He created toggles and buttons that will allow us to see the possibility of improving certain functionalities. This has received a lot of great feedback from other community members as well, and we've definitely considered this in our later design iterations. Finally, create a space for community to learn, connect, and share. So encourage interaction between members so that they can discuss pros and cons of different design stages and implementations. In our case, we have a lot of very complex products that require setup, configurations, and advanced features. So we have a lot of community members helping others who are new to the ecosystem that elevates the knowledge of the community as a whole, that also leads to higher engagement and higher lifetime value overall. So what are some of the ways that we can create community initiatives to strengthen feedback loop? The first one is creating an ambassador program. So you can have influencers or very active community members to help you spread the word to others. So they can also act as cheerleaders for your brand, represent your value to other members as well. It's a very good way to get authentic feedback because it's not just you directly asking your customers. It's another person who's vouching for you, giving testimonials, and also collecting this feedback directly from other people. Another way of doing it is through beta programs. So beta programs allow your community to join through your efforts of improving the products earlier in the process. So let them see new products, features, bug fixes before they go out. If you're just starting, you can start small and find a group of people who cares about the problem that you're solving. Find early volunteers, and in our case, we relied on people that we know because we had zero brand recognition several years ago. We asked them to join our beta program and created a page with clear set of instructions on how to become part of it and what to do once they're in. We nurtured that relationship and formed deep, meaningful connection with these early people in the channels that they're comfortable with. We even had a Facebook group that allowed for organic discussions around feedback. We made it as frictionless as possible for them and didn't worry about structures and processes. So because of that, after several years, we've now have millions of paying customers, thousands of active community members who are helping us test both the hardware and the software product. And it all started with a small set of volunteers. Make sure that you build trust. So be responsive and follow through. Encourage them to test, post, and ask questions. Show that you're listening and taking their feedback seriously. And then also get to know them as humans. So show genuine interest in their day-to-day activity as it relates to your products, because then you can understand their motivation and pain points around it. Finally, ask for referrals. So once you build trust, get support and spread the word to bring in more people. Run it as a community, not as a sales channel. If you are looking for more tactical ways, go to the groups and organizations that will most likely use your product, and then have an open dialogue and invite them to join your beta program. So that is a very good way to co-design the product with you. Finally, you can also create early access programs. So some people are not as excited about testing the products directly, but they're very excited about getting their hands on your products early. So let your community be the first to receive and enjoy your latest releases. Create a forum for members to connect fellow backers, get exclusive rewards, and potentially even receive additional support from your specialists. So these are some ways that you can, again, collect those feedback to help you improve your product development process. When building a tight feedback loop, remember to practice the following mindset. First is create an open dialogue. Bring people together and create an environment in which they can share multiple perspectives. So this will lead to a more holistic set of recommendations. Don't be afraid to take a back seat. Let them talk, give you recommendations, and this will allow you to collect more feedback beyond what you initially planned for. Second is provide relevant updates. Remember that this is a two-way conversation. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see is people collecting feedback from community and not giving updates back to them. So make sure that you provide relevant updates so that they know where their ideas are going, or even at minimum if you heard them or not. So it's very important for them to understand how you're planning to use their suggestions. And finally, know their strengths. So community members have their own areas of expertise. Make sure you consider this as you gather ideas, so you're not just listening to like a vocal minority. You're also looking at different perspectives depending on the types of persona of these members who are giving you feedback. Thanks for your time.